Hey, what's up everybody? Eternal Fire here, and today we're going to be talking about the Brewmaster Monk on the PTR in 7.2.5. So first, let's take a look at the Legendaries. We have a lot to talk about. So first, you have Storm Stout's Last Gasp is the first new Legendary in 7.2.5 for the Brewmaster, and it's a shoulder item. What this does is it gives you an additional charge of Keg Smash and increases its radius by 25%. The second new Legendary is the Soul of the Grandmaster. Now this is the class Monk ring, and you're going to be able to use it for all three specs, and it will basically give you one new talent, or it'll give you one of your talents from your talent tree for whatever spec you're playing. In this case, for Brewmaster, if you use this ring, it will give you Mystic Vitality, which increases your stagger against magical damage by 40%. So you see this orange ring around in your talent tree here, and that's because you're wearing, or I'm wearing, the Soul of the Grandmaster ring. So it gives you that talent, freeing you up to either use Healing Elixir or Dampen Harm. So pretty interesting. I guess it's nice. It's always nice to have Mystic Vitality. It would have been nice to have that throughout the entirety of Nighthold, but it is what it is. Now let's talk about the Tier 20 bonus from Tomb of Sargeras. Tier 20 bonus. The Tier 20 set. The 2 set, consuming a brew has a 100% chance to generate a Gift of the Ox Healing Sphere. And then the 4 set is when a Gift of the Ox Healing Sphere is consumed, your current stagger amount is lowered by 5%. So that's really cool because you're going to be doing your rotation and you're going to be just using your brews, right? You use your brews and you're just generating spheres. See how many spheres we have? Now say we are taking damage and you actually use those spheres. It's not only going to heal you, but it's going to reduce the amount of stagger you have by 5% with each one that you use. So very potentially, if you were to get a lot of stacks of these healing spheres on the ground, you have your Black Ox Brew, which gives you more brews, which gives you more healing spheres, and then you use Expel Harm, right? You could essentially get rid of your almost your entire stagger bar. So that's really cool. I'm very excited about that. It just seems very powerful to me that you just 100% chance every time you use a brew, which you're using your brews constantly throughout your rotation, throughout a fight, you're going to be getting a healing sphere, and then every time you use a healing sphere, it reduces your stagger by 5%. It seems really powerful to me. I'm very happy about it. I can't wait to get it personally. So let's move on. So let's talk about some of the core changes to the Brewmaster Monk. First, your armor is being increased to 25%, up from 15%. So your baseline armor is going up. And the reason that they're doing this is they're reducing the amount of stagger you get from other things, like Fortifying Brew used to increase the damage you delay with stagger by an additional 20%. Now it's only 10%. Iron Skin Brew used to be 40%. Now it's only 35%. So those things have been nerfed, but your base armor has been increased. And basically the reason they're doing this is because we used to be able to just stack Iron Skin Brew and have up to, like 2 minutes on Iron Skin Brew, so then you can just know that Iron Skin Brew will be up for like the rest of the fight, and then you can just use Purifying Brew when you need to. So that's kind of something Brewmaster Monks were doing to cheese fights, and so now you can only have your brew, as you can see, up to 22 seconds. So even if I'm using more brews, I'm still at 22 seconds. So that's been nerfed. You can only use it, I think it was like 3 times the amount of the duration of one. So you can have it up for 22 seconds, Iron Skin Brew. So you can't just be stacking it, so then in times of need, all you need to use is Purifying Brew. So that's something that's changed. So not only has the stagger amount been nerfed, but the duration that you can just have it up, which was a crazy amount. So that's why they increased the armor by 25%, because of those other changes. They wanted you to rely you can still have 100% uptime on Iron Skin Brew, but they don't want you to rely so heavy on stagger. So now you just have more baseline damage reduction with the armor increase. Other things is Special Delivery. Now is 100% chance to proc when you use your brews, which is really nice because it was basically unusable in like dungeons, in my opinion, when you're doing large trash pulls and you don't have any consistent AoE other than your Flame Breath, which has a pretty significant cooldown, and then Keg Smash as well. It was hard to get those big trash pulls all together. So I would just go with Rushing Jade Wind for, Mythic Plus dungeons or whatever. Or, if I was tanking the ads on Score Pyron and Nighthold. Now you can use special delivery. It has a 100% chance to proc when you use your brews, but the damage has been nerfed by 70%, which makes sense because if it was the same damage that it put out when it was only a 30% chance to proc, that would just be really overpowered. So we'll have to see with some sims what's better, special delivery or rushing Jade Wind. But right now I'm using special delivery and I like it a lot. It's very fun to use. It also frees up the fact that you don't have to constantly be using rushing Jade Wind all the time. So that's nice as well, because you used to have to use Rushing Jade Wind in your rotation to do damage, where this, you're just hitting your brews, which you'd already be doing. So it just takes some of the spamming out of your rotation, which is nice. Another change is your stagger amount cannot exceed 1000%. So that really doesn't change anything at all. You're probably never going to, without this cap on your stagger amount that you can have, you'd probably never have stagger go beyond 1000% of your health. So we're not going to worry about that, although that is a cap that's been put in place. And then let's look at the mastery. So one thing that the devs wanted to do was make Blackout Strike and Breath of Fire more pertinent to the rotation. So they added each time you are hit by a melee attack or you hit with Blackout Strike or Breath of Fire, you gain your elusive brawler from your mastery. So now when you use Blackout Strike and Breath of Fire, you gain stacks of elusive brawler. So that is a really nice addition to those two abilities. The only time Blackout Strike really makes sense is when you're using Blackout Combo. So that's just kind of an added bonus to those two abilities with your mastery. That's something they've changed. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about is when they took away Chi Burst and added Spitfire as a talent. Currently on PTR, it's not in the talent tree. You have, as you can see, Chi Burst here, but Spitfire replaced Chi Burst for a while, and it was a passive ability. Spitfire was a passive ability, and it made Tiger Palm have a 30% chance to reset the cooldown of Breath of Fire. So they seem to have reverted it back to Chi Burst, but it doesn't mean that Spitfire won't show up again. They might just be working on it and, you know, something like that. So just keep in mind that that was something that was changed, and we'll have to see if it comes back or not. But those are the big changes, guys. You have some stagger reductions, some armor improvements, and then a bunch of other abilities have changed. Currently on the PTR, the whole thing with Blackout Strike being 14 seconds, Tiger Palm reducing the cooldown of Blackout Strike by 5 seconds, that's not here right now, and I kind of hope it stays that way because that just made the rotation a little too complicated, I think. So currently it's not on the PTR, just keep an eye out for that. But I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, that's the word, subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.